All righty. Let's see. Welcome, everybody. We have a couple of fun people here. Kogan, Eric. How are you doing?
Doing pretty well.
Don't everyone speak at once. Well, for folks who are joining us, we don't typically go live on a Thursday night, but we have something super fun and awesome to get to this evening. Fans of whiskey certainly know Four Roses, and we have, I would hold them up, but there's simply too many. We have 10 blind Four Roses graciously supplied by our friend Eric here. 8 of them are private selects are the limited editions from 2013 to 2020, and then 2 private selects mixed in. So this should be a good time, to say the least. There's nothing better than drinking 5 ounces of barrel proof limited edition whiskey on a Thursday night before a Friday in the summer. But Eric, you're a new face. Kogan, it's been a long time, so I will give you guys a moment. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, since I'll plaster this when we're done. But Eric, good to have you on. Give us like a I won't say like a 30-second, but like give us like a 10,000 about you, like a 10,000 foot view, and then we'll get drinking.
Yeah, so got into whiskey probably about 6 years ago from a friend of mine, and ever since been collecting, really getting into store picks and stuff, and this was something I wanted to try for a bit. So I've been, over the last 6 years, acquiring these bottles for us to have some fun tonight. That's about it.
I like your style. Like, usually when I hold stuff back and I'm like, oh, we'll do something fun with this, I mean, in like 3 months. Like, I don't know that I have any interesting projects tucked away that are like 6 years old. So I'm commending your patience here. That's incredible.
Yeah, poured a little samples and hid them in the back.
I love it. And Kogan, what about you, my friend?
I'm just someone who likes to review all the weird stuff. You can find me on Reddit and on my Instagram as the auditor or life-owned accountant. I like all kinds of spirits. I've yet to find one I can't deep dive and get sucked into, and my wallet really hates me for it.
I don't think our wallet particularly likes any of us at this point, but I think that comes with the territory. So cool. Well, thanks again, guys, and huge tip of the hat to Eric. He provided these, refused to take payment, wanted to just sit down and drink some whiskey. So that is what we should do. So we have A through J, which is a fuckload of whiskey. Should we start? You guys have A poured, right? A, B. Admittedly, I have 3 glasses. I was like, oh, there'll be 6 samples. I'll do 2 sets of 3, and then I opened them up. There was 10. So.
Yeah. Should have specified when I was sending.
No, this is the best problem to have. I have a bunch of extra glasses right behind me too, so I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's dive on in. We can. I'll kind of let you dictate structure if you. I don't know if you guys want to like do. I'll try and make guesses, but I'm gonna go 0 for 10. I'm calling it right now. This is.
I think it'll be more fun just to rank them and see where they fall at the end. I probably won't get any either.
I have my nice little notepad here, so this should be a good time. It's fun because I was at Four Roses a couple weeks ago, and I've had 0 Four Roses since then. So this will be like a nice refresher.
Nice.
I think this is the first Four Roses like barrel proof I've had since December, and then it was a while before that.
Oh, geez. That's certainly longer than me. Okay. Yep, that's Four Roses. That's a good start.
Yep. I'm getting some like fruit, maybe like pear.
Yeah, I was thinking like plum.
Yeah, plum. Yeah, I can see that.
So this is sample. I should have made like a banner. In fact, I have the tools to do that. This is sample AA. Yeah, this one's fruity. And honestly, this is my first drink of the day, so like my palate shouldn't be busted or anything. It doesn't seem to be that high proof. Like I know these are all barrel proof, but
probably a lower barrel proof if I had to guess.
Yeah, this seems like in the mid 50s if I had to guess.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. 110, 115, somewhere in that range. Yeah, I can't pinpoint which one I would think it would be, but it definitely finishes long on this one for me. Pretty long finish.
This is a really long finish, which is interesting because it is rich on the palate, but it's not like slamming your face around with
heat or anything.
But the finish carries for a really long time.
It has kind of that green apple note that I get in a lot of Four Roses products, which I always found to be a bit strange, but pretty good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
No, that's a great note. I admittedly, Four Roses screams like candied orange peel to me, in kind of the same way that like some of the newer Russell's Reserve do, but they always have that big spicy peppery character to them. Oh, that's nice. Oops. Okay, here we go.
Yeah, I will admit too, I didn't drink whiskey in probably like 2 months, so
really
way out of the week on this one.
That'll be interesting because obviously for me it's been like, I don't know, 24 hours.
Right.
So,
right. Yeah.
What, you've just been busy or?
Yeah, just busy. A lot of stuff going on. I used to drink, 2-3 ounces every night. And yeah, the last couple months just been super busy. Didn't really pour anything. So Father's Day I had some Irish whiskey, but in about 2 months or so since then.
Wow, that's actually impressive. What Irish did you have? I didn't know you're an Irish fan. That's pretty cool.
It was one of the Teelings I split. I got it back here.
Teeling rocks.
Yep. One of the PA picks.
Fuck, 16 years. Oh, the Calvados cask. Okay.
Yeah.
Damn, son. All right. Well,
yeah.
if you're gonna
I have another one that's a white wine finish as well, 16 year.
Does it say what kind of white wine?
No, it doesn't. It just says white wine cask.
Okay.
I wish they would have dove in a little more there.
I'm only interested. So when Brad comes on, he can actually tell a better story. We were at Starlight, and so I only got into wine over quarantine, so I never actually physically talked about wine with people like in person. So I had to like just like whatever, be like, this is how it's spelled, this is definitely how it's pronounced. And we were talking, and I was like, oh, this reminds me a lot of Viogner, because I was like, that's how it's spelled. I didn't even think to like Google how it's pronounced. And Brad was like, it's pronounced Viognier. And I was like, what? And it took me a minute to be like, oh, Viognier. So now every time someone says white wine, I just think of Brad being like, buddy.
You just described a good chunk of my life, misspelling things and mispronouncing things.
Yep, I'm right there.
I was like, damn it! After Bunahaven, I should have known Google these things. All right, I have a little bit of BB here. I want to say 2, but we'll stick with the letters.
Yeah.
Okay, this definitely, admittedly, AA blind. This would stump me all day if I didn't know it was 4 Roses. But
Yeah,
BB,
I agree. It doesn't have the typical nose to it that the 4 Roses LEs do for me.
I think B is even fruitier than A for me.
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
Wow, that's a lot of fruit.
B is super fruity, but it has like those big, spicy, clovey kind of notes. Get my pen here. Whew. That's got a tiny bit of heat to it too, but it's still not even punishing.
Yeah, for me, I think it's actually even a little less than the first one. Maybe 48-ish or so.
Really?
A lot of vanilla for me as well.
Yeah, it's got that big sweet dessert kind of set of notes to it, like vanilla, some caramels, some clove. For some reason, yeah. Like I don't even know that there's a limited edition below 50%, but if this was like completely blind, I would guess that it was. Because these go down easy. Or maybe it's just like the kind of week it's been that
yeah, right.
60% ABV is like, oh, it could be stronger. Man, that has a nice long finish too.
It does.
I'm really super pumped for this because I've usually drank, like I do 40 roses every year where I do all 10 recipes of just the private selects, but that's a single barrel, and I've never compared more than I think 2 of the limited editions at once. So it'll be kind of cool to see like how the trends are, like how they trend one way or the other, longer, shorter. All right. Oh, yeah.
I think I've had 2018, 2019, and 2020 as far as limited editions go. So all the other ones are no experience for me with those.
Yeah, I've had 16 through 20, but never side by side. So
yeah, I've never tried them side by side.
In between having them, so going back to back like this it's already a pretty cool experience. We're only 2 in, just being able to catch the differences between them.
What's gonna really humble me is that I've had every single one of these over the last 6 years, and I'm gonna totally mess everything.
I know. We'll have to go look what your ratings are on Whiskey Raters, and we'll see if they hold true this many years later.
This is a great plug right there.
That was an excellent segue. I even forgot to plug my own site.
I gotcha. I wasn't gonna let you forget.
All right, and it looks like our 4th musketeer, maybe.
All right.
Maybe about ready. There he is. All right. Look at the brain on Brad. Hey, Brad.
Hey, everybody. How you doing?
Hey, Brad. How's it going?
Good, now that I'm no longer sitting in traffic.
Yeah, that's always nice.
We to catch you up, Brad. Brad is a good friend of ours. He's also founder of Aficionados Group. So if you see that lovely Yakon stuff, Brad was probably involved. We have poured out various amounts of these. I have a couple glasses. The other guys have more. We just started with AA and BB just to catch you up. Not to like pour booze down your throat the moment you get home.
Yeah,
but
come on, take a couple shots really quick. Let's catch up.
I think sitting in that Houston traffic, that's the first thing he wanted to do when he walked in.
I was going to say, regardless of whether there was a tasting tonight, that's probably And if there's any whining in the background, that's Gonzo.
Hey, Gonzo. Hey,
I share a similar issue with Duke as he lays in front of the computer.
Yeah, my dog's with my wife. He likes her more. So.
My dog's upstairs, or she can't cause any problems. Oh man, this B is really nice. This is fucking good.
Yeah,
I liked A. I think I'm like, I don't think there's gonna be any bad ones, so I'm gonna have to like pick the best ones.
I know. I'm already like in a hard debate between A and B because they're slightly different profiles, and I like both a lot. So I'm already struggling to rank, and we're only 2 in.
I'm glad I just have to rank them against each other and not give them scores.
Yeah, I don't think we need to go that deep. There'd be, I think, a lot of tied scores, and then you're just nitpicking. So,
Well, tonight we tried 6 9s and 4 8s.
Some days it does feel like that.
yeah,
They're fun to have.
that's true. So, Brad, I don't know if you got the rundown. We're obviously 10 total samples. You see those. So 8 of them, Four Roses LE, so 2013 through 2020. And then there's 2 store picks mixed in, kind of as controls or a little fun, see if we can pick them out, sort of thing, just so you know what's laid out in front of you.
Fantastic.
I grabbed C, and C is like a CC.
Yes.
It's like a baking spice explosion.
Very much so.
It's still kind of appley though. I don't know that I've ever sat down and been like Four Roses as apples, but Kogan's power of suggestion is killing me here. Mm-hmm. Okay, that's way less appley on the palate in the finish. And there's a whole lot of oak. Oh, man.
That is definitely much oakier than the other 2.
For sure.
Ooh, baby.
I was going to say, I get a decent amount of that kind of baking spice and pastry nuts that I typically associate with lots of oak on the nose.
On CC?
Yes.
Oh, that's oaky.
Yeah, I put 2 letters on there because sometimes my handwriting gets a little not great. So I figured if I write it twice, we'll breed one of them, right?
No, that was perfect because I the first one I opened I was like 44.
That was HH.
And then at the end, I was like, there's a space between the G and the double I. And I was like, oh, those must be H's. So
Yeah.
that was a good choice. Wow.
I don't know. This one seems even lighter to me than the first 2. Am I crazy in that?
Oh, see, this one seems so much like denser, richer, oakier.
I meant it like proof-wise.
Oh, yeah, this definitely, I would put this between A and BB as proof-wise.
Yeah.
Brad can tell us if our palates are busted, but these 2 seemed really mild as far as the ethanol goes.
I've only smelled them so far. But C's not super overbearing.
No. Maybe a like finish, definitely getting some like leather, maybe a little tiny bit of like dark chocolate mixed in with the oak.
This one is definitely way bolder in terms of savory flavors for me than the other 2. That oak really carries it.
No kidding. Whew. I like it. I mean, so like,
Yeah.
I'm kind of a bitch when it comes to tannin. And John loves to like make fun of me constantly because he's like, "Oh man, this is great. It's oaky," and I'm just like too much oak. This is nice. It's not too oaky, but it's definitely on that line.
I now hold all oak comparisons against that like 80+ year gross parent I tried, and I don't think anything will ever beat it.
That like the lot 28 or whatever.
Yeah.
God. I mean, even the lot 45 that's 75 years old is just like this. Like, it should be oakier than it is. Like, I can't imagine something being much more oaky than that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Mm-hmm.
I already hate having to rank these 3.
I know it's hard. I've scratched out a couple of things already.
Yeah.
I'm gonna wait. Well, maybe I won't wait till the end. But so far, yeah, I like the Ocon 3, but I think 2 for me is kind of coming as the first. Of course, do I rank these now? Do I rank them at the end?
See, I'm trying to rank them as I go because if I don't, when I get to the end, I'm just going to be like, yeah,
They're all great.
They're all good. What do I do? So
I need a new pen.
I'm trying to write, or not write, but rank as I'm moving along here.
All right, there we go.
I have to wash so much glassware tomorrow.
Oh, dude, it's gonna be so bad.
Yeah.
All right, I got a piece of paper. Oh, this is perfect. This is gonna be oddly cathartic. I'm gonna write it on the back of my Ascot Awards. Panel sheet. 2 blind tastings meet one another. All right. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
I almost threw the Al Young in, but I didn't feel like unburying it from the box that it's in. So that's why that didn't get sent out.
That seems fair. You can hold on to one of those gems for yourself.
Yeah. Believe it or not, I got 3 of them.
Oh, shit.
2 at retail.
Damn.
Drank 2 of them. And the other one was only, I think, like 100 over for the third one. So all pretty good prices for them. I got very lucky on that release.
That's not bad at all.
Yep. Every now and again, PA, you catch the timing right, and they had a limit of 2. That's how I got the 2 at retail.
They didn't do those limit 1?
No, they did not. They did limit 2 for some reason.
Because who likes 4 roses?
The Booker's 30th, when they did that, there was no limit. I bought 6 of them. And I didn't keep all 6. I gave them to friends because I knew they weren't going to catch it in time. So I literally had a case given to me. So
there's no way they do that now, right? Like there's limits.
They've been, a lot of people have been complaining, so they've been kind of tightening things up to limit to 1, and they're adding some extra validation now into the making sure you're a PA resident in order to get some of the more limited items. They always did that with the lotteries, but when they just randomly throw stuff up, they used to not check, so people from New York, Ohio, etc., all around us would snag them as well. So started adding some extra checks and balances there.
That's good to know. Okay. I forgot that you're in PA. That makes sense. Okay. That 8 was really nice. Really liked it. Really liked it.
Yeah.
I might do these in like 5 sets of 2, like between A and B.
Yeah.
I think I like B better, but only by a little bit.
Just gonna have to make a bracket.
I'm right with you actually on that one. B just a hair over A.
Yeah, I'm literally doing a bracket right now. 3, 4.
At least of the first 3, I know C is definitely the oakiest of all 3, but it also strikes me as having the most going on, and the tannin isn't overly assertive.
Yeah, I need to see what D has for me here.
That's what I just poured here.
You've got D poured? Okay.
Yep. Once again, I'm getting a lot of berry, but like like a dark berry maybe.
Oh, this one's even kind of fudgy. Fudgy-ish. Fudge. Oh, yeah. There's no contest to me between C and D. I won't say it yet. I'll wait for other people to weigh in. But,
as To me, the palate does not match the nose at all on this one. They are drastically different between the palate and the nose.
I think this one's had the most heat of the 4 for me.
Agreed.
By a lot.
This tastes like barrel proof.
Yeah.
I'm awake now.
Watch, it's going to be like the lowest out of all of them.
Yeah, back when I was like, there's no 48% limited editions. I'll be like,
Yep. It's like, we found it.
This man's an idiot. D. What do you think, Brad? Which one are you on?
I'm on D as well.
Oh, okay. Wow, you got up quick. Nice work.
Impressive.
Kentucky conditioned ya.
I mean, kinda.
Here's 30 barrels. Go.
I'm getting a lot of cinnamon on this one.
Yeah, this has a lot of baking spice. I'm into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's cinnamon. Yeah, you're right. It's more like cinnamon stick. I don't know. Do you get that big red, like aggressive cinnamon note on like Weller Antique and stuff?
I do.
Yeah.
Like that really spicy, hot, big red gum note. Like this has
like fake cinnamon.
Yeah, this has cinnamon and not the fireball-y way.
Right.
AKA in a way that I enjoy and that I like.
I find cinnamon like this, and I could be totally wrong, adding myself to the folks who are going to say things that are totally proven false later. But cinnamon like this always strikes me as more proofy rather than like tannicky, versus something like C, which also I had like a good amount of like spice and cinnamon on, but that tasted so much more barrel-y spice than it did proofy spice.
Yeah, this has ethanol spice to it, which I like. Like
yep.
The viscosity, and there's a little bit of that. Yeah, it's definitely on the palate. Whew. I was telling Kogan and Eric the Viognier story earlier. I forget. Oh, because we were talking about tealing in a white wine cask. I was like, which white wine, so I can mispronounce it, and then Brad helped me out later.
And wasn't he also talking about stealing a Viognier cask at one point?
He might have been. That might have been before I knew what Viognier was. And I was like, yeah, sure, whatever, French word. Having known that it was what I had previously thought was Viognier, that probably would have registered for me.
Yeah, there's some of them I don't even try. I'm just like, yeah, it's this. And I just send a picture, show them the bottle. We're good.
I'm glad there was no one around to hear me attempt to pronounce Armagnac for a few months because it was not pretty.
Yep.
I feel like Isla is always the one that just trips people up because it's 5 letters. It's so simple, and like no one can get it.
Yep.
You're like Islay,
which actually, give you another plug here. Hang on. This is, I don't know which one this is though. This one's probably not available anymore.
Oh, which Hailyak?
Neither of them are.
So yeah, this one I think is the second one, right? The 95.
Yeah, that's the Loopy Boo.
Yep. So we got the nice little.
Oh yeah.
Well,
man. I'm gonna hire you as marketing director.
I know, right? I'm honored for you here today.
I love that one so much.
That one's so good. I'm on my final bottle. I remember. It's even just crazy to look back on life because I was at a point where I was like, I'm gonna be ballsy and buy 2. And I'm like, why didn't I buy 6 of them? You know, like 5 years ago. I guess that was 4 years ago.
Was it really?
Holy cow!
It was 4 or 3 years ago.
I think it was 3.
I think it was 3 as well.
Because I think I was still I just joined up in A-Fish when you guys had released that, or right around then.
I'll find the email because that was the first one where I was like, should we do emails for these kinds of things? You know, 30,000 people.
Believe it or not, I have a sealed one.
Oh, the original Hailyak?
Yeah, I have a sealed one there.
That Kasu.
And I have just opened actually an XXX one.
Okay, that's the good stuff.
For the rum.
That was my favorite because it came anti-tater right away because nobody's wax survived the initial void. Not a single one hit secondary because nobody's wax survived. That was a good time.
Yep.
Whew.
I have E now, and it's way different than the other ones so far for me.
Between C and D, I'm leaning D. I think that's where I'm going with this. I say to nobody in particular.
I went D as well.
You're wrong. It's C.
I gotta agree with you there, Kogan.
Okay, so we're splitting already. That's good.
Split decision.
Oh man! All right, I got E coming here.
Getting a ton of spice on this one. Pepper.
I get a lot of oak on this one.
Clove, yeah, oak.
This one's like buttercream and maple syrup to me on the nose.
Yeah, I could see the maple syrup, the molasses, like a molasses or something
Yeah,
like
that.
Like a heavy syrup.
Molasses candy with like a light pepper.
I definitely agree with both the sweet and the spicy.
All right. Little oaky on the taste and finish.
Oh, mama. Oh, that's good.
So I think we're only halfway in.
EE.
So since we're halfway in, does anybody think we hit a store pick yet? Or do we think these are all LEs?
Oh, no. I think that we've definitely hit a store pick.
Yeah.
I think that DD was a store pick.
I would have guessed B was a store pick.
I
would
have guessed D was a store pick so far. That's what I wrote down too.
Yeah.
For me,
B was my favorite so far, so if that was a store pick, well, it might not be good for the LEs.
I'm just guessing B because it is, at least compared to the other ones, seems substantially less tannic.
Okay, that's fair. I think I'm expecting really punchy ethanol on the store picks. Not in like a bad way, but I expect the competent blending of, previously Rutledge and now Elliot. I should know this. I shook Elliot's hand like 3 weeks
ago. I went Rutledge to Elliot.
Yeah. Well, it threw me off because the Al Young for a second. And I was like, wait, no, that wasn't. It's been one of those days. But I'm expecting, and I'm ready to be wrong. I'm expecting like a big, spirity, spicy, more tannic orange peely bomb from the private select. So naturally, I'll miss both of them handily. But
see, I might be at a slight advantage because I do know the two recipes that were included since I poured them. I don't know which one they are though, but I do know the two recipes at least.
Okay, so that's good. Good, keep that to yourself because I'm ready.
Yeah, no, I'm not sharing that. If there was a way I could have done it without knowing that, I would have. But.
Oh no, it's good. But that's a good point. I had not considered that. I'm gonna be embarrassed either way, so I may as well just go like.
I mean, I have a feeling there's a solid chance we all might, but we're here for fun, right?
I feel pretty good because even Brent was saying with all 10 recipes in front of him at full strength, he could get maybe 3 or 4, and he could get maybe 6 or 7 diluted to 20%. So like, that's his job.
Right.
If I can get 0 out of 10, then like, I didn't like have to worry about turning it down a job at Four Roses to begin with, so I'm gonna be just fine.
Exactly.
Yeah, E. I really like E. I'm curious to compare it to something, but
I really enjoy E as well.
Yeah, C was nice. I don't think C is a store pick. Now it's almost more of the game than figuring out which year is which. Is like find the Ellie in disguise.
Yeah. So you have what, a 20% shot at hitting it, right? Is my math correct on that, or do I have to account for multiples at that?
No.
Too late for math.
2 out of 10, 20%. You have a 10% chance each time. Now these are all, I forget. So I know that they're obviously every year there's a small batch limit edition.
Mm-hmm.
But there's never been a year where there's a single barrel limited edition, but not a small batch. Are these all small batch? Or are they?
They're all small batch. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't include. I do have one. It's a single barrel limited edition, but I didn't include that in this as well.
Okay, cool.
I was trying to keep it level.
that helps me with my like totally wrong hypotheses about the private selects in here. Because if there was like a single barrel limited edition, I would have just been like,
Yeah, no, that's not here.
All right, cool. So I need to compare E and F now. Oh, poor puppy.
I just poured F.
Ooh, F has some color to it.
Grab a couple more glasses.
All right.
Good call.
I grabbed 8. Didn't realize I didn't grab enough.
I know.
No, I like this. I can't give myself analysis paralysis by leaving the first 8 samples behind. I have to take my notes and like write down a 1-word impression and like move the fuck on. Like no stranding. Because otherwise we could be here all night.
I've never had the same year from multiple bottles, so I don't know if there's a variance between the bottlings. I would imagine not, or very minimal.
I would think no.
Yeah. So the only kind of caveat in this, like I said earlier, 2 of them were given by sample. So the 2015 was given by 2 different people. So there are 2 different bottles. So I don't know if all 4 of us are drinking from one sample received, or if there was a mixture with the other ones that were sent out.
They should be homogenous.
Yeah, I assumed, but I just thought I'd make that footnote before we dive too far into this.
Good. Another variable.
Yes. I'm trying to make as many excuses for us as possible. So.
When I write this up, I'll be like, dealing with 21,713 variables. The group successfully nailed 0.
Woo.
In a 4-way trial.
Whew.
So to me, this one is pretty strong.
This one is hot.
Which one?
Yeah. The
F.
Okay. I'm catching up here. We got E. F.
It's definitely
It's the hottest one so far.
Which is almost, I don't know. Once you get past the heat, though, I'm getting a lot of like toasted marshmallow on the taste. The nose just kind of burns me, honestly. Like I said, didn't drink for about 2 months, so.
Oh no, it's definitely there. Yow.
Oh, you can smell the ethanol
when Kogan's internet freezes. Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we lost you for a second there.
It happens. No clue why.
That's okay. We only lost you as you made like your very poignant point. Like you're very. Oh man, yeah, that's got some ethanol too.
If you go in too close, you'll burn out your nose buds.
For sure.
Oh.
So once I get past the burn a bit, on the taste, I'm getting a lot of someone's making like a fresh bagel, like the yeast part of the bagel, like it hasn't been cooked yet. Baked, I guess would be the proper thing to say there. Baked yet.
I'm still trying to work through this heat.
So it was hot on the nose for me. Definitely not quite as much on the palate. But that said, I do get, it's kind of like that. So early in quarantine, when everyone made bread and the world was out of meat, I was on that bandwagon and also making bread. But it was like the spicy cheese bread that's like a big thing around here. I mean, it's like a brioche.
Yep.
Is it brioche? I want to say it's like a brioche style bread. So it's like that sweet bread with that kind of like yeasty smell after it's proofed, after it's risen, but before you put it in the oven.
Like that, like enriched kind of dough.
Oh yeah. Like even when you're in, you're at a distillery and you're by the fermentation tank and like fermenting is almost done. So it's like coming through really nicely. That's really nice. Art.
Yeah, that's my dog. Sorry.
Oh, I don't care. I was just talking about it.
He gets excited.
I'm just having a conversation.
I mean, Gonzo's drinking 4 roses without me. I'd be excited too. Actually, I'd be pretty concerned, but
Gonzo's like, why does the chinchilla get all the good booze? Wait, what?
Have I ever told you guys about the fact that Four Roses is Gonzo's favorite whiskey?
No.
So early on when we had him, when he was freshly here from the shelter, he developed this habit of like snuggling with things on the carpet. And so
I remember this.
He started with like just anything red. If it was red and cloth, like he would take it to the middle of the carpet and just kind of like snuggle it or lightly chew on it. And before we started crating him, the one day we came home and we noticed he'd started to like bring like wooden things to like snuggle with on the couch or the carpet. And then the one day, it must have been the wood topper on the one bottle of Four Roses Private Select. But he dragged the bottle of Four Roses over to the middle of the rug and had like lightly chewed on the stopper. And I was shocked that the thing was like intact, like not a chip or a drop spilled or anything, still in the bottle, but he was just kind of like snuggling with this bottle of Four Roses. Just kind of cementing that apparently Four Roses is his preferred whiskey brand.
I feel you, Gonzo. For everyone in the audience who doesn't know, Gonzo, is he, I know he's a mutt, but like chocolate lab / something.
He's like Dobrador is what our vet called him. So like Dobrador. Somewhere between a chocolate lab and a Doberman, I guess.
Oh, his facial features make a lot more sense knowing that there's some Dobie in there. Okay.
But, you know, came from the pound. She's taking a guess too.
I feel like I should throw up pictures of these dogs, but I don't know. Well, can't blame him. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
FF is definitely hotter. It's still not like punishing or like too hot or peppery, which is great. Like it's not like that. I always just think when people say hot and I think of Stag Junior Batch 1. And I'm like, but is it that hot? You know, that was like that punishing, just like pepper spray to the face kind of essence. This doesn't have that, but it's definitely the hottest so far, I think.
Yeah, I would agree. It's the hottest out of, what are we on, 6? Yeah, the hottest of the 6 so far. For sure.
Yeah, I did just pour GG, but I'm letting it rest GG.
I poured it a couple minutes ago just to try to do the same.
I also feel FF has a ton of fruit under there somewhere.
Yeah.
Even though it's super, super spicy, it's coming across in this really fresh and fruity kind of way, even though it's tough for me to really taste the fruit. I'm getting that impression anyway.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
It's essence of fruit. It's like what my girlfriend says about me when I drink LaCroix. It's like someone walked by holding a lime in their pocket.
The essence of lime. That's funny because my favorite sparkling is the Pellegrinos, and they're called the Sanzia. So like the essence of things. I'm like,
yep.
That's very pretentious sounding, but not wrong.
So yeah, I guess I'll tell a little more story about how this came about. Now that we're pretty far into it. So like I said, I've been kind of working on this for about 6 years. So when I first really started getting into whiskey and acquiring the LEs and stuff like that, kind of had this idea like, oh, it'd be cool if I could collect multiple years and then eventually do a tasting, 5, 6, 7, whatever years down the road. And kind of picked Four Roses for 2 reasons. One, it's one of my favorite brands. When I was diving into all the various store picks, I really got attached to Four Roses pretty quickly. And then the other one seemed to just be the one that I had access to the easiest throughout the years. So couldn't quite do it with, like a BTAC or anything like that because they're much harder to find. So it ended up working out. Like I said, I did have to trade for a couple of them, but overall, that's how this came about over about 5-6 years, something like that.
Honestly, I mean, I don't think you could have picked a better brand to do it because like Four Roses, like, okay, I'm not saying it wouldn't be fun. So if someone out there has 10 years of George T. Stagg, like definitely like drop us a line. But, like, because they have really confident blending, but the recipe is changing every year. So there is like, you're definitely expecting different flavors every year. Like, yeah, the profile in George T. Stagg or Thomas Handy or, Weller, like shifts a little bit over the years, and like, yeah, that could be fun, but like the whole goal is that these are all supposed to be the best they can possibly be while highlighting different recipes or different ages. And I think that, like, you know, if you're going to collect one of those to like timeline stuff, you like, I don't think you picked wrong at all. I think this is a great choice.
Yeah, I was really excited for today to finally see it come to fruition.
I love it. I mean, you've been, oh God, it's been 5 months, 6 months since you were like, hey, we should do this thing. And I was like, hell yeah, you know, and then at least I think so. Like, time has been moving.
Yeah, it was a bit ago, and then I just got busy here between work and some stuff in the house for a bit, and then I was like, I need to get back on track, or we'll have 11 samples instead of 10. So not that I'm sure anyone would have complained, but
oh, dude, I know how it goes. Like, you know, you blink and then it's like 3 months have gone by.
Yep.
Like that thing you've been trying to get done is still not, you know, like, I totally get it, but I think Four Roses is a great pick. Like, I was more excited about this than if someone was like, you know, here's 10 years of George C. Stagg, and I'd be like, all right, my palate's going to be completely fried by 4, and then we're just going to like fumble it around in the darkness. You know?
Yeah. One other one that I don't, unfortunately, I wasn't able to acquire a lot of it, but I have another one here for me to kind of just, I guess, do by myself. The Macallan editions, all 6. I have 1 ounce samples of all 6. So if I had 4 ounces, I would gladly share again with everyone, because I think that's going to probably be another pretty fun one to go through, all 6 editions that they did.
I'll have to. You should. Oh fudge! I don't know if I have 1 and 2, but I definitely have tons of extra of 3, 4, 5, and 6.
I know I've got enough 1 to at least do 4 or 5 1-ounce samples left at the moment.
Funny enough, my sample for 1 and 2 came from you, Brad.
Oh, did? Well,
way back in Reddit days. Mm-hmm. So yeah, the 1 and 2 came from you. 3 I got from a friend of mine, and then 4, 5, and 6 I had bottles of.
I liked them all. 5 was the one that kind of threw me off, and I was like, Macallan, baby, like, what are you doing? But then 6 brought it back home for me. 6 like, restored some faith there.
I didn't get to try all of them like side by side, but I've had them all individually, and I kind of agree with what you're saying. I get what you're saying there.
Okay. So I think of EE. Actually, I won't say it. I have GG and HH here, which I'm jazzed about. I haven't tried H at all, but
yeah, I have not either. I just finished G, which I gave 0 notes on.
You finished E, you said?
G.
Okay. I was like, oh boy, we better.
No. G.
Okay.
Which really, really liked it. I was like a red hot candy on the finish. I don't know, like a lot of rice spice, vanilla, honey for me on the palate. Really, really enjoyed this one. I might have to put it at the front of my list, honestly.
Oh, high praise.
Yeah. I might have to go back and sample a few of the other ones that I have drops left of.
I'm just waiting on my number 1 being a store pick.
Which I'm here for it. If it happens, great.
Worst things could happen. I mean, it would have been better if this was like 2 years ago when store picks were everywhere. They were like $65.
Yeah. So, store picks, 4 Roses. What does everyone think about the no sticker clause?
I have opinions because nobody read the paperwork. It's not a no sticker clause.
It's a legally, we don't want to be involved with your sticker. Please don't do anything that will get you or us sued clause.
Yeah. So
okay, makes sense.
So as someone who has signed the non-mutilation agreement, which is what it's called, I've kept this to myself for a very long time. It is not a no sticker clause, and I know that is the hype clickbaity shenanigans of the. Basically, it's an agreement that says if you choose to put on a sticker, and someone like Nintendo or Disney or DreamWorks or Nestle, like, you know, the Goliaths of the internet, want to come and sue you because you stole their trademark and you put it on a sticker. First off, 4 Roses will never let you pick a barrel ever again. Second off, 4 Roses will not help you because it's your own legal battle to fight. And C, Four Roses would really hope that you don't do that kind of thing. So here's putting your signature. The whole document is, if you choose not to heed our warning, we will not help you. Like, our lawyers are not your lawyers. And also, have fun with that legal battle, and then you'll never get Four Roses ever again. So not a conclusive sticker ban. That said, I'm not putting a sticker on ours because ours was going to be Schitt's Creek related. And we could have done it within fair use, but fair use is murky and lawyers are expensive. And, there's other ways to get fun stuff done. But I think that Four Roses was actually kind of behind the times because people like New Riff have been doing it for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like New Riff, you signed paperwork and you've signed it since the beginning. Like the whole Riff Patino thing, yeah, it could have been prevented by better wording in the contract. But New Riff since the very first day I stepped on there was like, if you put artwork with a copyright on there and someone tries to come blow up your asshole about it, that is your problem. And also we'll pretend you didn't exist, which is a pretty good thing for brand,
Yeah. So a fun little tidbit of New Riff. Up until I think 2020 in New Jersey, there was only one store that had store picks.
Just like the state of California.
Yeah. There was a previous relationship between the people of this store and the people that run New Riff. So they did an exclusivity thing for the first couple of years of barrel picks, but they have since opened it back up. You can find a few more now.
Yeah, that's, some of these things are unwritten, some of them are written. A lot of them are very handshaky. But there's a reason we don't run New Riff through our California retailer.
Yep.
But politics and whiskey, what a good combination. And there was going to be we were going to do the Four Rose Bud Motel, which I thought was really catchy and fun. But, and who knows, Schitt's Creek is a Canadian show. I don't even know if they have bearing, but we'll have fun in other ways. On that note, so GG, I have GG and HH here.
I was like, I'm just getting to HH. You're still on GG.
Yeah, I literally have the full board of HH.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. I'm like, oh no, I'm getting ahead. I have never actually done a tasting online like this with a group of people, especially to this extent where there's 10 samples. So,
Man.
Very happy at how smoothly I am blending in to you that are experienced in this.
Yeah, I don't know. People, it's not hard. You just need to, people think it's a huge production, and maybe it was pre-COVID, but COVID's the best thing that, kind of worked out for this because everyone had to learn how to use the internet real quick. Suddenly the internet became a lot cooler than it's been. Which is we'd always been on the internet as Redditors and Discord people, which is funny to watch the world catch up. And, because before people shunned Reddit and Discord and doing online streams, nothing can beat in person. And then when in person went away, people were oh, the internet's real cool all of a sudden, help us out. And, whew.
I think I've officially hit the point where I don't know where to rank it anymore because I can't remember the first few.
I remember the first couple, but this HH is really something.
Yeah.
GG is no slouch. The thing is this is that when you're 60% of the way through a game of Battleship and you're that little PT cruiser's out there somewhere and I haven't found it. That is the final single barrel. I'm certain, and I'm speaking in absolutes now because it'll just be funnier when I get totally proven wrong. But I'm certain that FF was a private selection, and now there's only 2 samples left, and I don't know which one is a PS, but it's in there.
I've written down my guess for the 2 single barrels.
Yeah, have you gone through all 10?
Not yet.
Okay.
I agree with you with FF just because of the amount of heat that was on it. I feel none of the other ones had that yet, so it kind of stood out, which could be completely wrong, but. Since that one kind of stood out, I was leaning towards FF. But yeah, in terms of the other one, whether we drank it or it's one of the last 2, I'm still completely up in the air on that one.
Yeah. It's in there somewhere. Like it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, this is where it gets agonizing. Yeah. So after this, there's 2 samples, and I have 3 glasses. So I can like take the 2 I have and like oh, this is fun. This is the good. Like I haven't agonized over tasting like this since literally 4 Roses. Which I will admit was the hardest barrel pick of the entire trip because there was not a single bad sample in the bunch. Like normally you can just throw out a couple and be like, yeah, it's cool, you know. Okay.
As opposed to the time at Nulu where like a bunch of them are just like, no, just this is not happening.
Yeah, it was nice to which is nice, right? When you have 10 samples, you're like, I'll get rid of these 6 right away. And then you work on the 4 best ones. But like at 4 Roses, like here's 10 really good barrels. Like have fun, you know. And hopefully you're gone in a couple of hours.
Yeah. The only thing that I ever got to partake in, there was a store up in New York, which New York has tightened up severely on what's allowed in terms of private selection. I think it might actually be completely eliminated from what I heard recently, but I don't know that for fact. At least with certain distilleries. I've heard that. I don't know if it's like blanketed, but
you can still do them, but it is a pain in the butt with you have to offer something to everybody.
You can't offer exclusivity to one outlet. Yeah.
Yep. And a lot of the distributors are just like, this is not worth your time anymore. So it's that's why I said it's kind of been blanket. You don't really find them too much. Maybe in the city, you'll still get some people that'll try it, but for the region of New York that I hit, which is Western New York, you don't really find anything there anymore. But a few years ago, I did a Buffalo Trace, but they sent like 3 samples to him at the store that we got to sample and taste through and pick one of the 3 samples. We weren't actually on property.
That was how my peak pandemic Russell's pick went as well.
That's right. Yeah. It's funny because Buffalo Trace now has been like, yay, we get to welcome everybody back to the store. And they make you pick every single barrel for that year in one day. So there's like, here's 50 barrels, the 50 is an exaggeration. They give you like 20 barrels and tell you like the 40 you get are in here. Just like, you have to pick them all right now. And then you do it from like a solo cup on like a card table that someone like wrung out in the warehouse. So I think the remote might actually be more not luxurious but comfortable, approachable.
Yeah,
there's a bathroom nearby.
Yeah, it was funny. Out of the 3, there was one that was a extremely clear winner for me.
Oh, really?
And the guy that was running the store, he's super into whiskey in terms of the atmosphere, not so much the drinking. So it was this little small shop, and he basically he likes getting the LEs and stuff, and he sells them near retail, but you would walk in the store and you most of the time would just go, oh, well, this is going to be a wasted stop, and you turn around and leave. And I just got to talking to the guy one day and found out, oh yeah, I got a Thomas Handy sitting back there. I'll sell you for $100.
Son of a.
And I was like, oh, cool. This is a cool spot to come to. And I mean, I can't even justify the size. The size of the store is probably about half of, not even less than that of the stores that I go to in Jersey. Like it was so small, and 90% of it was wine.
Really? Okay.
Yep. It was incredible. And got to talking about the store picks. He was all into it. And he was like, I don't really drink it a lot. I don't know much about it. But he got in touch with the distributor, got everything set up, and then asked me to help him pick one. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Damn. I'm just thinking of the moment where one of my stores was like, I got Thomas Handy. And I was like, oh, you're talking to me? Like, yeah, I get a good price. It's going to be $4.75. And I was like, thanks, pal.
Yeah, I've been very, very lucky, as I think you guys have kind of been able to partake in a few of the splits that I've done for fairly fair pricing. They're a little marked up, but I mean, it's pretty fair. I have a few stores that I was able to get some relationships with that are very fair to their regulars. And
yeah,
one of those stores actually also received these 10 samples.
Okay.
To partake on. The one that I've gotten the majority of the bottles that provided these samples. So I
That's
gave
awesome.
him this package of 10 as well and told him what was going on and that we were doing this and stuff tonight and everything. And you know, never hurts to kind of share the wealth a little bit. Helps you get more stuff down the line.
Well, to your store, like thumbs up.
Mhm.
And I mean, that's a fun part too, right? Like it'd be kind of silly to expect every store to just sell everything right at like line MSRP, but you know, mark it up $50, make a nice margin. You know, all of us, I think, would be happy to pay $50 over for any of these.
For sure.
At least personally speaking, you know, there's a difference between like, yeah, okay, I'm saving it for you. I'm going to make a few extra bucks, take my wife out to dinner kind of money. And then like, you know, that's my favorite part about doing business trips in New York City, right? It's going to stores and I'm like, oh, you know, do you have anything good? And they're like, yeah, we got Weller, man. It's, you know, Weller 12 for $5.99. I'm just like click, you know, that's like a very different world. So I think that's great. That's awesome. That is a good relationship to have. Because I mean, I think of all the people I know, like you have extremely good access and clearly, you know, paying it back and having that relationship is important in bourbon. And a lot of people, you know, we've even got like store owners on Discord that like are just exhausted from people like walking in and being like, give me your antique collection. And then when you're like, I don't have any, and they're like, fuck you, you know, and they leave. Like,
yeah.
God, like being a store owner just has to be the worst. And so, you know, if you have good relationships, like reward those people and tell everyone else you're out of stock. And like, I get it.
Yep. The one store that I have a pretty good relationship with, very early on of me going to the store, I told them, I'm like, listen, if I ask for something that's an LE and you have it and you don't want to sell it to me, that's cool. Just don't lie to me. Just say, you know, I got it. I only got a few. It's going to some people that have been coming here a lot longer, and I'll be fine. I'm not going to be, you know, a dick about it. And he's like, you know, I really appreciate that. And then there was a few times that he's like, you know, I only got like one or two of them. I can't do it. I'm like, yeah, no problem, man. And he hooks me up with other stuff though. So it's a win-win. I think if you're nice and respectable to the owners and managers and stuff, it'll go a lot longer than like you said, people that act like that. Like, I have it? No, F you, and go and bash the store and stuff like that.
And it even goes the other way too. Like I have stores that I've been going to for years and I'm like, hey, you know, you have anything interesting, anything good, you know, like it's that season. And like, nah, man, just, I didn't get any. And like, I can see over their shoulder into the back room, like they have it. And I'm like, you know, that's cool, but just be straight with me, you know, because it's a two-way road. Like I'm happy to stop shopping here also. Like you be straight with me. I'll be straight with you. Like, I'm not going to throw a fit if you're like, you know what? Some dude spent $500,000 on wine here last year. And I'm like, he deserves it. Like someday, hopefully I have $500,000 to spend on wine. It's not going to be in the next 30 years. That's for sure. But you know, like I get it. There's always bigger fish in the sea, but if you're straight with me and I'm straight with you, we can coexist and it's not going to make me mad when, you know, hey, that guy got the thing you wanted because I got one of them. Like, I get it.
Yep. I actually, when they just did I forget what it was, maybe like 2 years ago, they did a second release of the Booker's Rye for charity. The one store, I asked them as soon as it was announced, if you get any, let me know. You know, I'll even pay a bit over and stuff. And he got one bottle. And he called me and he's like, you were the first person that asked. So, and that. And he's like, you know, this one guy that's been coming to me for 20 years was pretty, not pissed, but he was like, oh my God, I've been coming to you for so long and like this and that. And I actually was like, you know, I still have one of the original release. I'll be nice. Give it to him. He deserves it. He's been going for a lot longer. And like he about fell on the floor that I, you know, gave up the bottle. But I'm like, I still have one from, you know, 2016, the first release here. And I, you know, I don't need to be greedy. So treat him right. He's been coming to you a lot longer than me. And yeah, I think, you know, stuff like that went a long way. Some people might think that's crazy, but I don't do the whole flipping investment thing. I drink. There's some I saved, but it's for me. It's not for a long-term investment. It's for me to save for something down the line.
Shit like this, like sitting on Four Roses for 6 years is no small. No, and that's good. Like, because that shows you too, like, because everyone wants to know, like, what's the store going to do for me? But it's nice to demonstrate to the store, like, here's, like, I'm happy to give this up to someone else, when it comes down to these weird, like, because store owners hate to be in that weird, awkward situation too, right? Like, we all hate awkward. So that's awesome.
Yep.
And clearly it pays off in, other ways.
Yep. The guy that ended up getting it gave the store owner a few ounces and also saved 2 at the store for me for the next time I went in, since I gave it up for him, because the store owner passed the story along to him.
That's awesome. I mean, that's like the dream of bourbon, right? Like, everyone's getting along. People are getting like.
Exactly.
Man, that's great.
I have moved on to I. I don't know if I'm ahead or behind.
No, I think so I'm on II and JJ, and I haven't tasted either of them yet, but they're both.
I am on J currently.
Wow, okay. Speedy Kogan.
I know.
I don't know. I'm past the point of writing very good notes. They've gotten shorter as my list has gone down. We've reached the "this is good" point.
Yep.
I started with notes and I ended with a bracket.
I'm legit. I just started ordering the bottles up next to me in the order that I thought they were the best, because I've
that's a good system.
Lost everything else. So
I have samples everywhere. What do you think of, Brad? How are things going on your side of the monitor?
I'm on I. I think it's one of my 3 or 4 favorites. Also, I want to mention the Spirit Surveyor has been commenting along and mentioned that the HH and FF terminology makes him think of Mitch Hedberg, and I love that skit. So,
yep, great reference. Great reference.
I'm a bit ashamed that my girlfriend had to introduce me to Mitch Hedberg, because I'd never heard of him before.
The most important part is you know who he is now. So
yeah,
you're good.
Better late than never.
So good.
Yes.
And no one was like, these sound like cup sizes, which is all that's important.
Spirit Surveyor, why do you got to cut me deep like that?
I expected an old granddad 114 joke, and I didn't get one. So
I was close, and then I forgot. It's all Brad's fault.
Old
Don't worry,
granddad.
nothing in here is anywhere close to old granddad 114.
That's a good. That was
really
that was like a 1 out of 10 for you.
Yes, that is the second most embarrassing blind I've done.
Okay, well, we've all had them. It's cool.
I mean, maybe I'm just lying. Maybe it's in there.
This is all an elaborate ruse to give me to drink 10 samples of old granddad 114.
This was the most expensive ruse in history.
I really mean no offense to the brand, because I heard a lot of great things from the people there and stuff, but this was probably one of the worst things that I have had. So I hear the people there are very, very good, very nice. You hear a lot of good stories of them, but yeah, it was just not very good.
A few years ago, someone blinded me a Graveyard Sam's bourbon from Pennsylvania, and it had a skeleton on the bottle, and I had it blind, and it was the worst thing I ever tasted.
Yeah.
It's funny, yeah. Like, the folks at Koval, great people. The folks at Few Spirits, great people. I hope that they'll unblock me on social media, so like, I can like convey this to them in some personal way. But like, hopefully their spirits are making it. But as of like a year ago, both Koval and Few were still pretty bad.
See, this is good, because I was mildly concerned doing what I just did would somehow get you in trouble, but you're already blocked, so it's a win-win.
Oh,
I will say Koval Koval does a really nice brandy, which I don't think they release outside of their distillery.
Yep.
And their gin's pretty good too.
That's the thing. Like, their gin is great. Like, same with Journeyman. Few has a good gin, I believe. Like, it's just kind of a shame that their like flagship product isn't as good as their on-premise only non-flagship releases.
Sounds like how I feel about Watershed and their bourbon and gin.
Oh yeah, their gin is crazy good.
Yeah.
Even their Nocino is really fantastic. Not the Nocino bourbon, but just the straight up Nocino.
If I didn't have a tree nut allergy, I'd try that Nocino.
Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. That's another quarantine word that I had to assume was just, I was like, nocino, that doesn't make sense. Let's throw some flair. Nocino. Like,
I like it. I approve.
wrong.
I have no idea if you're right or not, but I approve.
I don't either. But on that note, I and JJ, these are the final two. I don't know if you guys have saved some of your samples. These are my final two.
Just a smidge.
A smidge, okay.
Yeah.
Some have none left. Some have some left.
The beginning ones have like almost none because I'm like, yeah, it's a half ounce. And then as we progressed, I'm like, maybe a quarter ounce is where I need to be.
A half ounce adds up. Let me tell you, we got one of those like auto pipettes that do 5 milliliters at a time, and you would be amazed at how much 5 milliliters is. And I'll tell you, a half ounce is way more than 5 milliliters. I think it's like 3 times that, 4 times that. Yeah, half ounce, it like kind of adds up after a while.
I remember I used to, at one point, I was like, 1 ounce or half an ounce, you can't get any thoughts off of this. And I realized how much it really was. I was like, oh, that's actually quite a bit.
I used to be the same way. Like my biggest pet peeve is still when people like review the first sip of a bottle they have. They're like, well, I just might not get to the end. And I was like, well, that's probably not a good style. But like, yeah, 5 to 10 milliliter, totally adequate for like a good tasting. Yeah. We have okay, now I'll plug myself. We have a great story coming up tomorrow on Whiskey Raiders. Glencairn has released a crystal pipette, which is the most useless and pretentious thing. And Lane wrote up an amazing story on it. I can't wait to publish it. But yeah, this is a great lead into that because, yeah, quite literally, it is a crystal pipette with a crystal Glencairn on the top in extremely miniature fashion. And it is the most like God save the Queen invention I've ever seen in my life. But yeah, everyone else just use a plastic one, like the normie civilians wear.
Lane's calling me out in chat for my bourbon reviews. It's fine.
You know, we all get OGD'd at some point.
At least rum loves me.
I mean, someone sent me. It was like one of the epic Loopy Boo casts, like 188, 184 or something. And I tried it right after Bird Dog chocolate whiskey. And that was the day that I learned like the importance of like just do 1 sample a day and cleanse your palate and like go to bed.
I'm still waiting on that epic bad mini series.
I still have it. They're all like they're all in the. I have Dusty Benchmark Peach distilled at Buffalo Trace.
That's incredible.
That's awesome.
eBay only wanted to give me like $7 for it. I was hoping that was going to be like a big cash cow, but since it wasn't, I have to drink it at some point. But yeah, and that's like the cream of the crop. Like it only goes down from there. I have like dusty Spanish liqueurs from like 43. There's one that's like shaped like a penis. Like it's a minefield.
Perfect.
Actually, Eric, you mentioned that you had Macallan samples from me from way back in the day.
Yeah.
Talking about the pipettes, it just made me think of the fact my first few boxes of Glencairns, or not Glencairns, Bostons, the kinds with the dropper tops. And so I don't know if yours are the ones that came with the dropper tops.
Because they did not come with the dropper tops, but that is an awesome story.
There was like a while where the Amazon vendor just put out the wrong tops until we were like, you know what, screw Amazon. Let's go to like Brad's been doing this longer than I have. Like, let's just go to bulk. Because you're not buying on Amazon anymore, right? Like you're buying bulk, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Cool. The first few, I mean, I was doing, like I said, the trading of samples and stuff back on the Reddit days and stuff, but the actual splits, the first, I think like one I did was like 2 bottles. And I was like, oh, like, you know, got to make sure this is all this. And then, you know, you see Brad and you just realize that what you're doing really isn't that impressive anymore. So the past couple I did, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to keep stuff until I have a wide variety of things. And then we'll just blast off a Brad size split in here.
It is no small undertaking. That is for sure.
Now, I will tell you, the half-ounce samples that were sent for this, they were not fun, my friend.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
envious.
not fun. It was not.
For Christmas this year, I'm buying everyone an auto pipette that like auto measures, like 10.
Yeah.
Because a half ounce is a 15 milliliters, so you could just do a 10 and a 5. It's just like bang bang. But
Yep.
I think Brad was out. Let me turn my head the right way. Yeah.
Oh, did it come in
This
yet?
way. Oh, my pipette's been here for a couple of weeks now, but I had like $400 a specialty bottle come like during dinner. And I was like, oh, the box won't be that big. And then my fiance was like, did we buy a refrigerator? No.
Where does that rank on the scale compared to the Great Gin Day of Reckoning?
Oh. The day that we got like 41 baggages at once. It was not that high. I did not get an angry text message. That's right. Yeah, there was like it was like May of last year, so like quarantine.
I distinctly remember the day.
I left for the first time in weeks during the day. I was gone for 40 minutes, and then while I was gone, like 40 gin orders I'd placed all showed up at the same time, and the UPS guy just rolled like a gurney dolly cart into our apartment, and he like texted me. It was just like the mail came, and then sent a picture of all the boxes. I was in so much trouble.
Yeah, it happens.
But bourbon.
So yeah, all of these half-ounce samples were poured through this magical little funnel. So,
wow.
Yeah, I didn't have a way to nicely pour into the small mouths of the half-ounce bottle, so this little stainless steel funnel did it.
That actually looks like the exact same funnel, like the funnels that I use.
I think we've all bought the
Amazon?
same stainless steel set.
It was an Amazon. There was 3 total, right?
Yeah, you got the tiny one that's too small, and then you have the middle one that's perfect, and then the big one that only works for like glass.
Exactly. Yep. So this was the middle one that I just held up.
Oh,
no, I should have tried the tiny one. I didn't think about that. I just had the middle one out and I just grabbed it.
The middle one works because the tiny one, if you don't like keep like the seal unbroken, it immediately just like overflows everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the big one, like I do like, because if you get the good one on Amazon, it's like crimped a little bit, like on the spout, so you get some like air. But yeah. Ooh.
So I am finally on to the last one. I don't know if I gave any verbal notes to II, but it was really good. I really enjoyed it.
I think I'm past the notes part.
I liked II, but I think it's a private select.
Do you? I don't.
I think I'm wrong. I think there's a very good chance that I'm wrong.
Yeah.
JJ just has like enough complexity where I think it's a blend. And I'm giving it the nod.
I get you on that. I'll actually try to do something here. So honey, fruity, of course. Four Roses tends to be fruity here for the small batches. Yeah, on the nose, honey, definitely.
I'm just trying to rank them now.
A little bit of a dry finish, oaky. Yeah, caramel and honey almost all the way through. Pretty good. Probably go middle of the road myself on that one.
Oh yeah. Yeah, now I've done like a bracket, so now that I have the top 5, but like
But see, like, why I didn't do the bracket. What if like the first 2 you drank were like spectacular and they should be 2 and 3 and you eliminated one in the first round?
I know. There's problems everywhere. Science is vicious.
It is.
No. I think I know which 2 are my favorite.
Yes, I got mine here.
My little boogie board.
I'm worried about palate fatigue more than my favorite, but I'm just gonna go with it.
Do we how do we want to like not like begin to wrap this? Like we don't need to like kick people out of the bar and get them home and stuff, but like do we want to do like a favorite one and then like guess on the private select? Do you just want to like name your top 3 and we'll see how everyone compares? Like I think this is a good like rest stop on the journey of Four Roses to figure out how we seal this road trip up.
I put zero thought into this, so I provided the samples, and I told you stream it for us, please, and take it over. So
now I'm putting in the thought.
yeah. So I don't think we necessarily need to rank 1 through 10, but maybe like top 3, and then see if we can pick the store picks out or something. I think that would be kind of fun. I'll obviously do a reveal of all 10 at the end here for everyone watching and stuff.
Okay. I'm good with it. I think that I can do. Oh shoot! I just misspelled that. I shouldn't talk and write at the same time. I'm good to do like a top 3, and then maybe like a bonus of like, can you guess the private select? And maybe we'll do the reveals and we'll chat about that.
I like that idea. Also, you're not allowed to misspell things. That's my wheelhouse.
The worst part is it's 2 consonants next to each other.
I really need to hire an editor.
God, if only we knew where to get one of those. Number. Okay. I have my top 3, and I have what I think is I have my 2 private selects too. So this looks like that scene where the guy is at the bulletin board with like all the
Early Day?
Yeah. It's
From
like
It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, It's Always Sunny, and he's like, just hear me out. Yeah. Like,
who is Pepe Sylvia?
Yeah, like that's what my thing looks like right now.
I'm pretty sure the gist of that joke is that he's trying to pronounce Pennsylvania, but he's illiterate.
It checks out.
I need like another 60 seconds to chop my 4 down to 3.
Okay. I'm going to take a 30-second intermission to grab some water, and then maybe we'll convene and seal this deal.
That is a good idea. I'm going to do that as well.
Water's the water of life. Kogan and Brad, you can keep up the small talk.
We can try. I would provide more notes, but all of mine is gone. I drank it all.
HH is still like really, really tropically to me, and I like it, but
it's really hard because there's, at least to me, there's not a bad one in this entire bunch.
Oh yeah, I would drink any of these, hands down.
Yeah, should have saved a little bit and done a blend of all 10.
Actually, this is really wanting me to go back to something we also did back in the Reddit Scotch Swap days, where we did the 40 roses 10 recipe like giant swap.
Yeah.
And then went through all 10 blind. I would love to do that again.
That sounds really fun. I think in my 3 years-ish now that I've been in like this community, I think I've gotten 1 bottle of 4 Roses Private Select.
That was the cool thing. Like even for folks that wanted to participate but didn't have the right recipe or whatnot, we figured it out once we got involved.
Yeah, that was fun. One of the first things I did when I started getting into this was immediately, like, a friend of mine. So I was drinking a little bit, and a friend of mine gave me a private selected Buffalo Trace, and I drank it compared to the regular bottle, and I was like, man, this is kind of night and day. Like, there was a big difference for me. So I started diving into it pretty deep, and one of the first things I did was try to track down all 10 recipes, and between, I think, couple trades in 3 different states, I was able to get them within a couple months' time. And then I did a side-by-side, and later found out some of them were just terrible picks in general and had nothing to do with the recipe. And I'm not going to name the store, obviously, but they just seems like they just take whatever they'll send them, and they don't really sample. Like, I found out after the fact they don't actually pick it. They're just like, yeah, we just want private picks. Send us whatever you want. And a few of the recipes that I initially tried came from that type of environment, and came to appreciate those recipes further down the line. One of them was a Q, which I know Jay is a big fan of Q. So him talking about the Qs quite a bit, I think I need to give these a try again. I tracked a different one down, and it definitely fit the profile of what you described. So I'm now more of a fan of the Qs than when I originally started.
We got a marker.
So Gonzo's decided it's time to come inside.
Gonzo has decided. All right. Yeah, BQ, man. BQ. Like, I'm all into it.
I think the one private select I got was an OESK, and I had it in the winter, and it was awesome for winter drinking because it was all just big, bold black pepper and rye spice, and it was like being punched in the face. It was wonderful.
Yeah, K's one of my favorite. I tend, obviously, like I said, I did trial 10 at one point. For some reason in my area, we get a lot of the E instead of the B. B just seems harder to get for me. So I usually end up with E's. But yeah, K and Q, I think I tend to go to a lot more like fall, winter. And I like the O for summer.
They just dropped 8 barrels of Four Roses in Ohio over the past week or so.
Damn.
But yeah, but I really can't be bothered to put in the effort required to obtain them. I'm not showing up at stores on delivery day, waiting in line, and all of that. I just can't be bothered.
What do they charge? What do they charge for them in Ohio?
I think 85.
Okay, so MSRP.
We're a control state, so it's MSRP.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, Pennsylvania is a control state, and believe me, we're not always MSRP. So Pennsylvania has been $90 for store picks for 6 years now. So even when they were 65, 60, you could even find them sometimes in like Jersey, New York. Wow. They were still $90. So I never actually bought a Pennsylvania Four Roses pick just solely for that reason. Plus, they used to not sell them in the stores. They're finally starting to sell some of them in the stores, and they would charge you in the beginning it was $7 shipping. Now it's $12 shipping, and that's to store. That's not even to your house.
So you can pick it up.
Yeah, so you're paying a higher premium plus the additional shipping to the store. Just really didn't make it a good value for me. So I have never actually had a Pennsylvania picked Four Roses.
Got it. Okay, well, let's not that we need to end this Roses party. Let's go ahead and start to not wrap things, but let's come to a embarrassing conclusion. First off, Spirits of Air asked how many total samples were there. There was 10. 8 were limited edition small batches. 2 were private releases. He also asked how long the lines were, and I'm going to say that they were long, so we've knocked that out. OBSQ, great port, comfort port, definitely a good one. So now that we've gotten those out of the way, so I've weighed in. Let's go through our favorite 3 and what you think their private select are, and then we'll do the reveal and we'll all agonize together. I've poured some Wilderness Trail Rye since that was what was closest to me since we had Dr. Pat on Tuesday, because I drink all of these Four Roses. I will not lie. I drank them all to get my notes. But Brad, you wanna kick us off here? What were your top 3, and what do you think were the private select?
My top 3 were E as in Echo. I'm not sure I remember the rest of the NATO alphabet. H is in Hotel, and J is in Juliet.
Okay.
And then my 2 private select guesses, my top 3 was E, G is in Golf, and J is in Juliet. Private selects were B is in Bravo, and H is in Hotel.
Interesting. Okay. What about you, Kogan?
My top 3 were C, A, and G, and then my private select guesses were D and F.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So you had C as in Charlie, D as in Delta, and F as in Foxtrot?
C as in Charlie, A as in Alpha, G as in Golf.
Golf. Okay.
And then my private select guesses were D as in I don't know what D is in NATO, and F as in Foxtrot as my private select guesses.
Delta and Foxtrot. All right. Interesting. All right, Eric. What are your top 3 and your 2 guesses?
I'm gonna go. I don't know. Even though you guys just said them, I'll still not remember them.
That's fine.
G, B, and I for my top 3.
Oh, okay.
And I'm going F and H for my store picks.
Interesting. Okay. So we actually have a lot of overlap here. My top three, my first one was H as in hotel. My second was D as in Delta. And my wait a second. Yeah. And my third was J as in whatever J is since the military alphabet.
Juliet.
Damn. Okay. And then so I guess that F and I were private selects. So we have some overlap. Everyone likes some things in the top three, which actually surprises me with this amount, like the amount of samples we had. But it seems like F was like kind of the agreed upon private select, and then after that, it all just goes to shambles. Shambles, I tell you. So why don't you, Eric, if you want to enlighten us, I will update the banners in real time.
All right. Should I just go A through J, or do you want me to?
Why don't you do the private selects first?
Private selects first. Okay. All right. Let me open up the thing here. We'll have some fun.
Oh, I'm scared.
Ooh. All right. So, private selects. The first one, I think we may have all picked this, or at least 3 of the 4 may have picked this for the private selects, which was F. I don't know if I'm jumping ahead, if Jay's going to yell at me for actually saying what they are or not.
No, that's perfect.
All right. And then...
wow, okay.
I'm not a total schmuck. My one win for the night.
Yes, I thought that was a private select too. Okay.
Yep. And then...
I'm more ecstatic about this than anything else. Like, I'm not going to lie.
So the other private pick, I'm a little shocked by this, but it was I.
Okay.
I was the other private pick, so...
Oh, man.
I wondered about that.
Oh, wait, yeah. That was my second guess. Okay. So I nailed them both. I have, I don't know if you, like, someone's going to have to zoom in, but you can see my little arrow, my arrow between them. Very Charlie Day style.
Yes.
They were good, but they stood out as private select.
Yeah, I think for me, especially F, the heat, which I don't know if you put on the graphic or not, but it was over 120 proof, which I think is probably one of the highest. I would have to double check everything here, but I mean, it definitely kind of stood out that I think we were looking at a single barrel proof at that point.
Okay. Wow. Okay, I just saw your chat here that FF was a Bourbon Street at 60.8%, which wow, I mean. So like that stuck out, but it wasn't like punishing pepper spray. And then what's really, really surprising is that II is an OBSO from Gary's. It's just shy of 9 years and it's 52%. That is interesting. That's some fun stuff.
Yeah.
Woo, baby. So with that, then should we go through where things really get grindy? And we'll work through the. Do you want to just start at the A's? I'm good if you want to go A.
Yeah, I think that might be the easiest instead of trying to track what we're doing here. So
sure. So A.
Yeah. So AA is actually the most recent of the batch here, the 2020 limited edition small batch, which having had it this year, it was. I thought one of my favorites, but it did not make my top 3 here. So I have been proved wrong that it was not actually one of my favorites. So, yeah, I don't know what everybody else's thoughts were there in terms of AA.
I'm surprised because I like 2022. Like I thought it was a very good release compared to a couple of the previous years. You know, it wasn't 2015 or 2013, but it was certainly like up there. But it's funny because between AA and BB, I chose BB with like zero hesitation whatsoever.
Yeah.
So
same here. I actually just looked. If we were to go through all 10, I had AA all the way down at 6.
Wow.
And I thought it was one of my favorites of the ones I've had. So that is pretty surprising.
Whew. All right. So what was BB?
BB was actually the 125th anniversary from 2013, which.
Okay.
Yeah, I was I've never had it before. I did have a bottle. It was a fresh open for this this tasting here, so it came in number two for me. And I heard great things. Never had it before, so for me, it kind of lived up to the hype.
It's amazing to me because it handily won an A, but that's actually where its reign kind of ended. Like that was my number 4. So the best it could have done was like almost in the top 3.
Yeah. Let's see here. So moving on to CC, we actually have the 2015 version.
Oh yeah.
Which I actually ranked last.
Really?
I ranked that first for me.
Wow.
It was my favorite, without a doubt.
Dude, 2015 was so good.
I actually put it last. I think that was the one that was very oaky, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I should have.
That was the first like.
I think that's what kind of
tannins.
threw me off because I'm like, for Four Roses, I just immediately associate fruit. So when I got the oak, I just kind of defaulted to, but I probably should revisit that one. Revisit that one again because I know a lot of people regard that one pretty high. That was another one that I've never had before. This was the first time I had that. So
that's a good one. Yeah.
All right, moving into DD is the 2018, which I believe was the 130th anniversary.
You are right. That was a good one. I really like DD.
I ranked that one pretty low, actually.
That was my number 2 choice. I was almost like number 2. Like number 2.
Yeah,
that was my lower half as well.
Yep,
really?
I'm with you guys. It was all the way down to number 7. It looks like for me.
It was 9 for me.
Wow. Okay. All right, so I should like go take a walk after this as well. That's what I'm.
But see, so just this is something that I kind of love, and this is why I like doing this type of stuff with friends and stuff because the variation between everybody's palate kind of shows how some people highlight certain flavors over others, and this goes to show, like a lot of times especially you see it a lot on Reddit, someone posts a review, and if it's not an overwhelmingly great review for something that's pretty popular, they just get hammered by people. It just goes to show everybody has different flavor profiles that they like.
I think this is also a great example, for me personally at least, of how palates can change, because I think this is my first 100 reviews I tried the 2018, and I think I gave it a 9 at that point.
Okay. Yeah.
I know.
Yeah, it's crazy to like come back to stuff.
Yeah, we need to close this out by going to Whiskey Raiders and seeing what Jay ranked all of these and how it compares to what he has in his lineup today. So I think that'll be pretty fun to see.
I'll deposit in your PayPal right after this.
Yes. I know. That's the second time I plugged that for you.
I know. I need to be better about this this kind of shit. But oh yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm sure that my ratings will have changed over the years, which I'd be shocked if they didn't. That said, yeah, definitely check out Whiskey Raiders, RAIDRS.com if you're looking for the comprehensive source of reviews on the internet tonight.
I mean, that's another thing, right? Like everybody, it's all relative to what you have tried before. So when you first start, like if you look back at your first couple of reviews, they might have been really good for something that's actually like a 6 or vice versa, because it's all relative to what you have tried before. So I remember at the beginning, I was like, oh my God, this is like the best thing I've had.
Yep.
And then you stumble upon something like a William Luger Weller or something you tried, and you're like, oh, this other thing is maybe not a 9, maybe it's more like a 6 because you've had something that's pretty outstanding. And especially if you dive into the Dusties, there are some Dusties that will, blow you away.
The hardest thing for me is I decided when I hit review 1000 was to go revisit my first 100. And that was a total eye opener. Because I do remember review number 2 was Smooth Ambler Old Scout 10-year. Not a single barrel, just the shelfie offering back when that like existed, and I complained that like this is hot and peppery. And it was totally different, And that's what 5 years of drinking whiskey will do to you.
Yep. when I know I mentioned a few times when my friend kind of got me into this with showing me store picks. The third store pick I bought was a Knob Creek bourbon at 120 proof, and 120 proof wasn't a smart choice for my third bourbon to really get into. And I was like, this is fire. This is, why do people drink this? Oh my goodness! And now it's one of my favorite store picks to go get. It's
yeah,
I think it's one of the best bangs for your buck.
definitely.
I've had a similar experience with Booker's over my whiskey career, so to speak, where granted Booker's has changed substantially too, but there was a point where more proof absolutely equated to more richness and more spice, and I was all into it. And I am less really proofy, rich, and delicious, still about it, but it is definitely not the be all and end all it used to be for me.
Yeah. Well, I guess we should continue in the reveals here. I actually forget. I think we're at E, correct?
Yeah, hit me with that E, my friend.
Yeah, so E is the 2017 release.
Ooh.
Which, let's see, I had that top 5 for me, coming in at number 5.
That came in at 4 for me.
This was E. Yeah, E was high for me, but it was not a top 3. But it did beat out that FF Private Select.
It was definitely a top 3 for me.
That was good shit. And that's a release that's like kind of panned too.
I may or may not have had FF as my 10th in this tasting.
All right, back in OGD Fort 114 lane.
That's not it. That's not a fair comparison.
I love it.
I didn't immediately run to pour this down the drain.
I'll take it.
Yeah. So
comparison.
FF, let me see what I have. Which was the store pick, the OBSQ store pick. I did have a number 8. One of my all-time favorite store picks for Four Roses came from the same store. It was an OESO recipe, almost 11 years. I think it's 1 month or 2 months shy of 11 years. I would have loved to include it in here, but I couldn't justify doing an OBSO and an OESO in the same. So they would have been pretty similar. So I thought I should go something with something a little more drastic. And since Jay does like Q, I thought I'd toss a Q in there and see where it fell for him.
Dude, Q is king. I refuse to believe otherwise, except for K, which is almost up there. So I was jazzed we picked an OBSK.
Yeah. All right, so moving on to G. G was actually the 2019, which I had as my number 1 overall.
That is GG indeed. 2019, really nice.
Super good.
That just lost HH in my going to number 1. It was so tough.
I think G was a firm number 3 for me.
Okay. So it's up in the Kogan top couple. The LIFO a top couple. Where did this fall for you, Brad?
This was also my top 3. Once you said we got a top 3, I didn't sweat about what was first or second.
Okay.
Definitely took the pressure off.
Good.
But yeah, this was definitely in my top 3. This was delicious.
Okay. So
Okay.
it seems like, if I'm correct, it was in everybody's top 3, right?
Yep.
So I think this is probably the only one that's in everybody's top 3. So I might have to give this one the nod as the overall winner between all 4 of us here.
Actually, I'm sorry, and that's a total lie.
See, now you made me sound terrible.
That was number 4 for me.
Still close enough. We're close enough. We'll give it. We'll still give it.
Behind
it was
Delta,
my 1 year 4
Julian Hotel. Yeah. Top 5.
Yeah, easy.
Top 5. Whatever.
Perfect. So yeah, moving into HH, we had the 2014 version of the small batch limited edition.
Well, would you look at that? I can't spell right.
which I had as my number 4, and this is another one that I have never had before until tonight. So,
really, okay. So this is
yeah.
a big night for you.
Yeah, like I said, I actually acquired, talk about self-control here. I acquired some samples solely for this night years ago.
I love it.
Of things I have never had, and managed to not drink them somehow. So
I'm impressed. I mean, I'm amazed if I can get it like 2 days without ripping the foil off some of this stuff. So like, A, more power to you, and B, like your generosity is unmatched. This is fucking fantastic.
yeah, I like I said, it's something I wanted to do for a while, and we have a good group of community people on here that contribute and do reviews quite a bit. So I was more than happy to share and have a pretty fun night here. So
fucking killer. So yeah, I mean, Thursday night, like everyone's just looking forward to Friday, but tomorrow when my head is just like a little bit off, it's gonna be like I'm gonna remember. I mean, I can't think of many places that do an 8-year vertical of Four Roses. Like, I'm good with it. This is awesome. And we're rolling up too. So what is II, my friend?
So yeah, II was a previous reveal of a store pick here. This was the OBSO recipe. Little under 9 years, 8-year, 10-month.
Okay.
So I was a little surprised. Normally the lower yeared Four Roses I don't tend to like, and I put this one at number 3. So
oh baby,
I was a little surprised. This is another one, even though it's a private pick, that I had the entire bottle of. It was a fresh open once again for this, so I have never had this as well. So I was kind of blind in this particular private selection with the rest of you, but normally the younger aged stuff I tend to not love as much, but yeah, this one made the top 3 cut for me.
I'm amazed. Like when we were at Four Roses, we picked a 9-year 4-month that outshone a bunch of 10 and 11-year stuff. So I think that removing that age from like your visibility while you try these things is super important, because some of them can just, they can just shine so well. Yep.
I actually have another one here that's fairly young, and it's a much higher proof. It's almost hitting 130, and I really enjoy it at 130. But when I add a couple drops of water, it really, really diminishes the quality of it. So they definitely hit it well doing the higher proof on that particular one.
Sure.
If it would have been a little bit lower of a proof coming back, it significantly changed just with like 2 drops of water. It went from, oh, I love it, to not so much. So,
okay.
Yeah, it's definitely an art what comes out of these barrels sometimes. Sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you don't. And the people that are at these distilleries blending, I mean, they're magicians almost sometimes. So kudos to all of them in the industry.
I mean, master distilling is one thing, but being a master distiller is fucking unreal.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. Coben will be back in a second, but why don't we wrap up with that, JJ?
Yeah, we have the last one in the batch here, which is the 2016 small batch limited edition.
There it is, the 2016. That's a good batch too.
That was number 9 for me, actually. You say it's a good batch. I put it at the back.
That was number 3 for me. 2016, you said?
Yep.
It was in my top 3 as well. I really, really liked it.
I remember I had a bottle of this years ago. It had to been, well, obviously 2016, but a buddy randomly was at Total Wine, and they buried a couple of these back on the shelf behind small batch, just to see who would find them. And he was like, he grabbed 2 at that point. Like Total Wine didn't have Wi-Fi yet, so it was whatever service he had, and he just sent a text and was like, I found 2. I'm going to take 1. 1 is for whoever claims it first. And it was basically on whoever had the best like LTE connection that was just rolling out in those days. And then, so I grabbed it and I split it with some friends, but it was crazy. It's good stuff. I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
What didn't you like about it, Eric?
You know, I don't know. Honestly, it was the last sample. It could have just literally been fatigue. Going through 10 half-ounce samples. I drank almost the half ounce of all of them up until the last few. So when I originally had this planned and I was talking to Jay about getting this rolling and reaching out to you guys about maybe doing this, I was looking at 10 half-ounce samples going, hey, not that bad. And then as I was pouring them, I'm like, this might end up being a pretty fun night. So yeah, very much just could have been fatigue for me, honestly. I do have a little bit left of the 16, so I will definitely revisit it. I must say, in all honesty, even though we're ranking them, I kind of ranked them 1 through 10. I mean, they're all. I would drink any of them any day, so I can't really complain about any 10 of them. Like Kogan mentioned before, it's like, oh, we drank a bunch of 9s and 8s, and you know, maybe a 7 mixed in here or there. So can't complain. It was a pretty good night.
Definitely. I mean, this has been awesome. It's like I never expected, you know, because like every year I managed to get a sample off of someone somehow, you know, and it's fun to compare and think about your previous bias. But this is fun. Four Roses limited edition science is the best kind of science as far as I'm concerned. This has been a real hoot.
Yeah, for sure.
I agree.
So I'll go ahead. I'll post up a nice I'm trying to think of what's the right word. I'll post up like an infographic, which I think would be kind of fun. You know, we've got about 9 minutes left before we hit the 2-hour mark. So a feature film worth of whiskey tasting, you know, so maybe we'll hang out for a few more and then we'll wrap up for the night. But I mean, first off, like I can't thank you enough. This was exactly, I've had not a bad week, but it's been an exhausting week. So like to cap it off with 2 hours of just drinking Four Roses limited edition. I can't think of a better way to go into Friday before a busy weekend. This was awesome. And I'm drinking Wilderness Trail Rye right now, which I was super jazzed about on Tuesday when we had Dr. Pat on, but like this cannot compare. So like, it's not even close. Like Great Rye has like no bearing on these samples, which were just out of this world. So even the ones we didn't pick weren't bad. They just weren't as amazing as the rest, at least in my perspective.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I really appreciate you guys hopping on. Jay, you know, thanks for hosting a stream here for it to be out in the interwebs for all of us to. I wouldn't say we look like fools. We did actually pretty well. I would say I think we did pretty good. So it was a fun time. I thank you for hosting on your platform, and I thank everyone for joining me to try to have a fun night. Like I said, I've been wanting to do this for years. I had it in my mind, and we have a great community here, and it was hard to just narrow it down to. That is a very great question. I would like to know the answer to that as well. But yeah, it was hard to kind of narrow down who to include, who not to include. So we kind of leaned on people here that do a lot of reviews, and we fell in that realm. So it'd be awesome if I could somehow manage to do something like this again in the future, but it's getting harder and harder to find stuff and get stuff at reasonable prices. So that's why I figured it was a good time to pull the trigger on this, and we'll see. Maybe we'll be back for something fun in the future.
Yeah, I mean, round 2 is always good. GM Bob Myers, I think I don't think Total Wine is necessarily bad. I've had some that I don't love from them. I've had some that I thought were really great. They just dropped an OESV here in Wisconsin that I haven't tried yet, but I'm curious about that. Ryan was asking, he's saying we did great, and Eric, you're incredibly kind, which I totally agree with. Once again, just an incredible act of generosity. This was super fun, but yeah, and thank you to Kogan and Brad for taking the time. You know, Thursdays our party night for people in college and below that, but I'm glad for 4 grown adults who have hangovers to fight and work to do on Fridays to step up and take the time. And you know, we had a couple more that unfortunately didn't make it tonight, but we'll guilt them into the next one, I think. On pain of death and sacrifice and torture and internet shaming.
I do believe the two that didn't make it do have their own sort of website-y social media stuff going on, and said that they were going to kind of run it on their own and post some stuff as well. So definitely be on the lookout for their thoughts and reveal for their top 10 as well.
Definitely. Well, this was awesome. I mean, as a final closing thought, I'm amazed that of the 10 samples that we agreed so closely on several of our finalists, a lot of people picked out both of the private selections, which honestly I think is the most shocking to me. Like I expected to kind of flub on my previous preferences, but I did not expect to get any of the private selects right, which was kind of cool. Maybe some weird palate validation there, but it's kind of nice. Like the single barrels are great, but the small batch, something like a message we've been trying to get across for the last year. So is that blending only gives you additional opportunity to create the best possible bourbon you can. And I think this is a very clear experimentation and demonstration of that. Blending has had a bad rap for many years, but if you take many really great single barrels and you blend them together, you get something that's truly just fucking incredible. So if nothing else, I think this proves that, and I'm excited about that because I love Four Roses private selects, but as some of us have tasted, we know that there's some really great stuff going into this year's limited edition, and that blend is just going to be off the chain, as the kids would say. Off the chain. So, but cool. Well, we're wrapping up. First off, Kogan, the auditor, you can find him at Life on Account on Reddit. Thanks for joining us, Kogan. You can find Brad Bo Baggins at aficionadosgroup.com. He's one of our co-founders. He's on Discord. His dog is the best that has ever existed, and I say that as a dog owner myself. And Eric, is there anything you want to say in closing? Because honestly, this could not have happened without you, and I'm so thankful that you stepped up and made this happen.
Yeah, no, just thanks everyone for that tuned in, or that's watching this even after the fact, and thanks Jay for hosting us, and Brad and Kogan for jumping on the tastings, as well as the other two that had something pop up and unfortunately couldn't make it tonight. Like I said, look for their stuff on their website or social media, and I'm just, like I said, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to share the wealth. I'm from the side of let's all be respectable. Let's all have fun. We're all in this together. A lot of people aren't like that anymore. So hopefully maybe showing something like this and seeing, how much fun we had tonight will sway people back over to that side.
Definitely. Well, I love it. Thank you again. And I will not miss this opportunity to plug myself, as Eric has so aptly done for myself. Twice, I think.
And the group. And the Aficionados
and a group. So I will close out here. I am Jay from whiskeyraiders.com. If you're interested in whiskey reviews, news, articles, and the newest scoop, go ahead and check us out. We are the Rotten Tomatoes of whiskey. If you love things that are not bourbon whiskey, you can check us out at aficionadosgroup.com or the Aficionados Discord server. We have, at this point, we probably have 40 channels. So if you're into booze, we have it for you. I can't think of a better group of spirits enthusiasts to be around with, especially at this time on a Thursday night. So check out aficionadosgroup.com or whiskeyraiders.com. And thanks for joining us, everyone. We will go ahead and close on out because, god damn, we're rolling up on 2 hours. Soon the Titanic is going to come knocking. But, this has been a blast. I can't thank you guys enough. If you've been tuning in for part of the time, the whole time, the halftime, anything but the time, we're thankful for you joining us, and this has been just a good time. So we will go ahead and roll on out here. Once I find, normally I have John, my co-host, pressing all of the buttons. We don't have that now, but let's go ahead and hit it, and we'll get out of here. So thanks again, guys. Cheers, and I'm gonna enjoy my final pour here, and go home to your dogs and drink some great whiskey.
I'm all out.
I know that you have other booze in your house. I think you can find
It's in the basement. I don't want to walk all the way down there. I'm on the second floor.
Well, that's fair. We will we'll save you the agony. We'll close on out. But thank you again, Eric. This has been a blast. And if nothing, this is proof that the world of whiskey is not beyond repair. Generosity like this still exists, and it's great for events like this. So cheers, everyone. Stay healthy, and check us out next Tuesday. So, woo, whiskey.
Bye, everyone.